So as I have mentioned it earlier, that is Lev Vygotsky. I was born in 5th November 1895 in a small Russian town called Kochi. And he moved to Gomen, a city is in what now the independent nation of Belarus, about 400 miles from the Moscow. And he was the second that they settled. So this is Lev Vygotsky. So in case of Lev Vygotsky and Jean Piaget, this constructivism theory is common. That is, we construct knowledge. Piaget saw that we construct knowledge that can be called for the cause of our age, and he has divided into 4 different pages. But Vygotsky called it the social constructivism, and that is social and cultural interaction play a vital role for understanding social theory. So Vygotsky's theory is also called social constructivism, as it was mentioned that we learn language by social interactions. And in the courses of development, we see the social aspects, cultural aspects, and also the language you can learn. So you can learn language through the contribution of these 2 terms. Vygotsky has called this ZPD, or you can call it JPD, zone of proximal development, and scaffolding. The zone of proximal development, what it is? The zone of proximal development was a key construct in Lev Vygotsky's theory of learning and development. And the zone of proximal development is the space between what a learner can do without assistance and what a learner can do with the adult guidance in collaboration with more capable peers. So this space how can I explain that in the easy way? The core idea of ZPD is the more knowledgeable person can enhance a student's learning by guiding them through a task slightly above their ability level. A student becomes more competent and the expert gradually stops helping until the students can perform the skill themselves. That is the zone of proximal development. And this zone of proximal development consists of 2 important components: the student's potential developments and the role of interaction with others. Learning occurs in the zone of proximal development after the identification of the current knowledge. And we have to understand these 2 terms together. That is zone of proximal development and the scaffolding. And Vygotsky's scaffolding is a theory that focuses on a student's ability to learn information through the help of more informed individual. When used effectively, scaffolding can help a student to learn content that they wouldn't have been able to process in 1 year on their own. Suppose we can make analogy over here. First analogy is, suppose you want to climb, আপনি একটা একতলার সিঁড়িতে উঠতে পারেন, একতলার ছাদে উঠতে চাচ্ছেন। একতলার ছাদে আপনি উঠতে পারছেন না, কারণ একতলার ছাদের হাইট হলো 10 ফিট আর আপনার হাইট হলো 6 ফিট ফর এক্সাম্পল। তাহলে হচ্ছে আপনি এই ছাদে কিভাবে উঠবেন? কিছু হেল্প লাগবে। তাহলে আপনি উঠতে চাচ্ছেন কয়তলা? একতলার ছাদ, যেটা হলো 10 ফিট উপরে, আর আপনার হাইট হলো 6 ফিট। এই 10 ফিট থেকে 6 ফিট এর মাঝখানের যে গ্যাপটা, এটাকে বলা হচ্ছে জোন অফ প্রক্সিমাল ডেভেলপমেন্ট অর জেডপিডি অর জেপিডি। এখন এই ছাদে ওঠার জন্য আপনার একটা হেল্প দরকার। হেল্পটা কি? আপনার একটা লেডার লাগবে, একটা মই লাগবে। এই মই আপনি ছাদের কর্নারে রাখলেন এবং এই মই দিয়ে আপনি ছাদে উঠলেন, একতলার ছাদে। তাহলে মই আপনাকে ছাদে উঠতে সাহায্য করবে। এই মইটা হলো স্ক্যাফোল্ডিং। ওকে, এবার লার্নিং এর ডিফারেন্সে আসি। আপনি সেন্টেন্সের স্ট্রাকচার সম্পর্কে আপনার ভালো আইডিয়া আছে, কিন্তু একটা রিসার্চ আর্টিকেলের স্ট্রাকচার সম্পর্কে আপনার আইডিয়া নেই। তাহলে এই সেন্টেন্সের স্ট্রাকচার থেকে রিসার্চ আর্টিকেলের স্ট্রাকচার এর মাঝখানে যে গ্যাপ, এই গ্যাপটাকে হলো জেডপিডি অথবা জেপিডি, জোন অফ প্রক্সিমাল ডেভেলপমেন্ট। এখন আপনার রিসার্চের স্ট্রাকচার সম্পর্কে আপনাকে আইডিয়া দিলে হচ্ছে আপনার ইনস্ট্রাক্টর অথবা আপনার টিচার অথবা আপনার সুপারভাইজার। তাহলে যে আপনাকে আইডিয়া দিল, যে আপনাকে হেল্প করলো এই জিনিসটা জানতে, সেটা হলো স্ক্যাফোল্ডিং। ওকে, নাও কাম টু দ্য ফার্স্ট ডেফিনেশন। এখন আইডিয়া ক্লিয়ার হবে। Zone of proximal development is defined as the space between what a learner can do without assistance. তার মানে আপনি সাহায্য ছাড়াই 6 ফিট উঠতে পারেন। তার মানে এটা হলো এই স্পেস, এই দুটোর স্পেস। And what a learner can do with the adult guidance or in collaboration with the capable peers. এবং আপনি যখন মই লাগালেন এবং মই লাগায় যখন সিঁড়িতে উঠলেন, তাহলে এই মইয়ের যে ডিস্টেন্স, মানে একতলার ছাদের যে উচ্চতা এবং আপনার যে উচ্চতা, এই মাঝখানের যে স্পেসটা, এই স্পেসটাই হলো জোন অফ প্রক্সিমাল ডেভেলপমেন্ট। And for this reason, you can define in such a way that zone of proximal development is the space between a learner can do without assistance and a learner can do with adult guidance and in collaboration with more capable peers. Same example, the second example, that means you know the structure of a sentence, you know the structure, but you don't know the structure of a research article. In that page, the space between your knowledge, that means the structure of the sentence, and the structure of the research article, this space is called the zone of proximal development. Okay, and the more knowledgeable peers, that means your teachers, your advisors, your supervisors, that can be the scaffolding. So these two terms are the key terms in Lev Vygotsky's social theories or cognitive theory or constructivism theory of development. Okay, most probably you have understood that. Okay, so that is scaffolding and Vygotsky. And it means that the socio-cultural theory is a theory of human development based on the work of Russian psychologist Lev Vygotsky. Vygotsky theorized that human learning includes So we were there, that is human thinking is meditated by culturally organized and transmitted symbolic meaning. So whenever you will have social interaction, whenever you will be cultural interaction with the others, every time you will get new idea. Every time you will understand a new thing. That is the situation of this Lev Vygotsky social theories or cultural theories. Yeah. People use physical and symbolic tools which we learn from other people. So that is another concept. Every day and every time we express some symbolic meaning, we express some physical meaning. Okay, so if you are okay, you will say I'm good and okay. So that is, so we learn from other people. And language is one of the tools we use to meditate with ourselves and the world. And in the same way, just like the physical gesture, just like the symbolic tools, we can understand that we can understand language from others. Okay? And language learning happens when we work with others to build your own existing knowledge and stretch just a little further then you can go on your own way. That means you know uh, one thing, but you want to many things. And for this reason, you will be interacting with other people, and by interacting with other people, we'll be learning so many things. So uh, that is the zone of proximal development. That is the space, and every day you are learning. That means your zone of proximal development changes. So the zone of proximal development, ZPD or scaffolding, inside the ZPD, imitations is the source of instruction influence development. Okay, so every time you will be getting new scaffolding, and your ZPD will be changes. Okay. Uh, Let me put an example over here. That means you know the structure of a sentence, but you do not know the structure of a research article. So it is the things. Then your teacher will be helping. Then your teacher may say that yes, আপনি sentence structure জানেন, এরপরে আপনি প্যারাগ্রাফের স্ট্রাকচার জানেন। তাহলে আপনার সেন্টেন্স স্ট্রাকচার আর আপনি জানেন না হলো রিসার্চ আর্টিকেলের স্ট্রাকচার। এরপরে তার মানে আপনার গ্যাপ ছিল সেন্টেন্স স্ট্রাকচারের পরে প্যারাগ্রাফের স্ট্রাকচার, তারপরে এসএস স্ট্রাকচার। ওকে, তার মানে এতটুকু গ্যাপ ছিল। এই স্পেসটা হলো আপনার জেডপিডি অর জেপিডি। যখন আপনি প্যারাগ্রাফের স্ট্রাকচার শিখলেন, তখন এই স্পেসটা কমে গেল, মানে গ্যাপটা কমে গেল। গ্যাপটা মানে কি, এখন আপনার এস এর স্ট্রাকচার শিখলেই আপনি হচ্ছে স্ট্রাকচার এটা শিখতে পারবেন, এই যে research article structure. And for this reason, as you learn language, what you can do in your own experiences and ZPD changes. So whenever you will be learning more, so your ZPD, তার মানে যে গ্যাপটা আপনার অজানা এবং জানা, এই মাঝখানের যে গ্যাপটা, এই গ্যাপটা every time that will be changes. So you internalize the ability or knowledge, and you can perform independently of other meditation. So that is about Lev Vygotsky's zone of proximal development and scaffolding. And that's how you learn a new language. So that can also be applied in case of learning new language. You know 10 vocabularies. After that, you will be learning 20 vocabularies. After you will learn 20,000 vocabularies. In such a way, you will learn a language, learn a second language or the third language. So Lev Vygotsky has a groundbreaking theory of language learning on the basis of learning. His points included the argument of language supports other activities such as reading and writing. In addition, he claimed that logic, reasoning, and reflective thinking were all possible as a result of language. Okay? So that is the Lev Vygotsky's theory, and he has included several important terms, that is zone of proximal developments and also the scaffolding. And for this reason, he has said there is a linkage, that is the application of sociocultural theories in yesterday, that is body and mind combined. So language doesn't happen in the mind, it happens in the real world. So there should be a combination of the real world and the mind. So you have mind, but if you do not contact with the other people in the society, in the culture, then your language will not be developed. Language learning will not be developed. And for this reason, the body and mind is combined. That is theory and practice will be combined. That is called praxis. Okay, that means theory and practice combined. Praxis. Okay. And the Vygotsky argues that theory and practice must happen together in the actual classroom. Okay, so in the actual classroom, if you remain silent, if you do not interact with others, your language learning will not be improved. So that is, and the worry of whether or not the theory research applies to teaching is mitigated by the very nature of the practice itself. So that is the Vygotsky's theory of social constructivism. Okay. And the scale of cultural theory is student has a different constantly changing ZPD. So there are some scale. So every student knows something. It means that every student will have a standard knowledge, and that is a constantly changing ZPD. That the example I have put earlier, that means you know something. That is your ZPD. And you know another, you want to know another thing. So gradually you learn more things, and your ZPD changes. So continuously your ZPD changes. So causing a great deal of time and effort on the part of the meditator teacher to support the individual. learners. So ZPD will be changing. So later SLA theories like complexity theories, identity theories, socio-cognitive approach respond to and adapt Vygotsky's point. So later theories also respond to Lev Vygotsky's theory. And Vygotsky's social theory also identifies these crucial points. That means humans are born with four elementary mental function. Why such kind of, for the theoretical explanation, Vygotsky said that every human being will have uh, such kind of thing, attention. What is that? Every human being will have the power of attention, sensation, perception, and memory. And social and cultural environment allow us to develop these skills. So attention skill, sensation skill, perception skill, and the memory power. Everything will be nurtured, and gradually you will have your attention power. You will more sensible. You will know, your perception power will be there, and your memory will be increased. So Vygotsky is another key point, that is every human being are born with these four elementary skills from birth. So Vygotsky's theory will have some benefits as well. Vygotsky's idea are most recognized for identifying the role of social interaction and the culture play the development of the higher order of thinking skill. It is especially valuable for the insights to provide about the dynamics, interdependence between individual and social processes in the construct of knowledge. And it is especially viable for the insights. Okay. And then Vygotsky's theory can be very beneficial in helping teachers to plan out their instruction. How they can help you? Because if the teacher can understand your ZPD, that means your knowledge, after that he or she will be helping you and try to learn more or more things. Okay, and for this reason, Vygotsky's theory will be helpful for the teachers as well. Okay. It helps them to think this through the knowledge and skills, and their students are expected to master and determine the order in which to teach those things. Okay. So socio-cultural theory is a concept by experts, and that looks at the essential influence of the human mix to individual development. It stresses the collaboration between developing individual and ethnicity in which they exist. So Vygotsky, in that case, in case of applying Vygotsky's theory, you have to understand that know each student's ZPD. In order to use ZPD and scaffolding technique successfully, it's crucial to know your student's current level of knowledge. Encourage group work. Don't offer too much help. Have a student think aloud. So through following this process, we can apply Vygotsky's cultural theory and socio-cultural theory in classroom for encouraging or for understanding the second knowledge. Okay. So there are major limitations of Vygotsky's theory and cognitive theory. Vygotsky's theory highlighting the role of social and cultural process in cognitive development. That is also the limitation. Vygotsky did not detail the cognitive process underlying developmental change. The major limitation of Vygotsky's idea that mostly ideas. He died before he could expand on his ideas. Actually, he gave the ideas. He didn't have experiment on these ideas, and for this reason, this is one of the limitation of this theory. And the criticism of Vygotsky's theory is that it doesn't account for slower rate of cognitive growth in some children. Both genetic and passive experience are thought to play some role as well. So the experience, both genetic and the other role also will play in case of socio-cultural theory of Vygotsky. Okay, so it can be applied to all cultures because not all cultures have social interaction. So there might have another limitations of this theory, that this Lev Vygotsky's theory is based on social interaction and the cultural interaction. In many cultures, they feel shy. Even their culture do not allow the people to interact socially. In many villages of Bangladesh or in very many cities, you will see that people are not interested to interact with others. So in that case, Lev Vygotsky's theory will be based on the social and cultural interaction. If that is not happen, so that Lev Vygotsky's theory will not be successful. Okay, so we have started with the idea that Lev Vygotsky's cultural constructivism will be depending on, that is, society and culture. That would be there. And there are two terms in this Lev Vygotsky's theory, that is zone of proximal development and scaffolding. The zone of proximal development is the space between the learner's knowledge and what the learner wants to know. So this is called the zone of proximal development. And the more knowledgeable peers, the leaders, and the teachers or the instructor can play the role of scaffolding. With the help of the scaffolding situations, the ZPD will always be changes. Still, Lev Vygotsky's theory will have some strength and will have some limitations as well. Okay, so with this note, we can conclude today's class. And if you have any questions, you can make this question right now. And if you don't, then we will close our class today. We will finish our class